Good evening, it's the Tonny and Tim show. We're back again after that week where we had a lot of action in the soccer world. The Champions League returning there, big games that happened. We had the Europa League as well, where we had very interesting results. But we keep our eyes now on what is going to be a Super Sunday in the Premier League, where we have big games coming up on Sunday afternoon, with the biggest wrapping up things at 6:30 East Africa time, 6:30 p.m. That game between Liverpool and Manchester City at Anfield.
Tony, it's a big game. Actually, if you look at the games played so far, this here, Liverpool versus Man City, is still the game of the season. And even if it's too early to call, this game will have a definitive, flow to the champion.
So tell us, give us an idea.
It will give us an insight to the champion of the Premier League this season, Tony.
Liverpool host Manchester City at Anfield in a very big clash. Of course, we know that these teams both played in the Champions League in midweek, both having very interesting and mixed results there. They didn't have the best of outings. Liverpool traveled to Italy and they lost there against Napoli. 1-0 at a goal that came in the dying minutes. But City also had to keep it late to win that game against Hoffenheim. That goal coming from David Silva. But let's talk about how well they've done in the Premier League in particular. We saw Liverpool is having a bit of a rough time. But these two teams are both on 19 points going into this game.
Yeah, Tony, it's only goal difference that is separating Man City with 18, Liverpool with 12 as the GD. But both sides, Tony, are attacking teams, and you don't see anyone going to say, no, I'm going to play to the other person's game. No, these two sides are going to be fierce forces against each other. And there is nothing other than a classic, Tony, we expect. Last season, of course, we saw City winning 5-0 at home, and then Liverpool winning 4-3, and then later in the Champions League, I think Liverpool won 3-0, and then they won away 2-1. So you see goals in this game. It's goals all over the place.
It's very interesting, but coming into this game, we'll just talk about Liverpool and how they played in the midweek. Liverpool went to Napoli for the first time in a long time. They did not register a shot on goal in the Champions League. So that shows you how blunt they were. Was it a matter of how well Napoli played? We know that even at the weekend, they had to leave it late with that goal from Daniel Sturridge. Chelsea had tried to blunt their attack there. Managers seem to be like they're finding out how Klopp's front three move. Is it something that's a trend that they must stop in this City game?
It's a very bad trend, Tony. If you look at Liverpool's 3 games, just like you've said, they lost to Chelsea, drew against Chelsea, and then lost to Napoli. So the last 3 games have not picked wins. And coming to this game, it's where people will start looking at Klopp and the Liverpool side as, are they really title contenders or they are pretenders, Tony? So it is a game that I think Liverpool has to take it up by the scraps and see if they can win.
It's a very interesting one, of course. Liverpool, for me, those 3 games, like you mentioned, they've come against very interesting opposition. Big sides only. We know that they played Chelsea 2 times. They had to play Napoli. They had some interesting games just before that, and then now they face Manchester City. Every team has a bad patch in the season. We've talked about how most of these teams go into these particular games. This might be the bad patch for Liverpool, and I think in this particular game, if they're not careful, Manchester City might win. if you ask me.
It's a hard one. You do not know what the Liverpool lineup, Tony, is clear. We all know the behind, the back 4, the midfield 3, and then the front 3. It's Man City that you ask, are they going to play Sterling and Sané or on the other wings of Aguero, or will they bring in Mahrez there, Tony? So we do not know about the Man City lineup, but only until we know it, then we can know what Guardiola is planning in this game. But I still believe at Anfield, and the record Klopp has over
24 wins in Anfield.
Over Man City, Tony. And Klopp head-to-head with Guardiola. Klopp has 8 wins. Guardiola has 5. So Klopp has that edge over Guardiola. That's why I still lean on Liverpool to take this game.
And very interesting news for Manchester City fans, of course. They'll be knowing that their mercurial player, Kevin De Bruyne, is pushing for a position in this squad. He has come back into training. We've been seeing him training, so he might be in the squad that travels to Anfield in this particular game there. So it will be very interesting to see. They've had a very interesting form. Sergio Aguero has had a very interesting season. Already started very well, keeping Gabriel Jesus out of the side. A player that, with signs from last season, we might have thought that he was the heir to the throne, but still it hasn't happened for him. So it will be interesting to see if Aguero still starts in this particular game. That game at 6:30 p.m. Of course, what is your prediction, Andrew Rafa?
I said goals, Tony. I've gone for Liverpool win 3-2.
Very interesting. That's a high-scoring game. You can't afford to miss that. I've gone for a slightly reserved approach, but I think Klopp will be able to lose this particular game to Pep. 2-1. I've gone for that City win. 2-1. And when we return, we'll be bringing you the rest of the action from Sunday and more.